Celtics Jaylen Brown says Trump is unfit to lead and has emboldened r.acists. Jaylen Brown may have a quiet personality, but he's not afraid to speak his mind. In a wide-ranging interview published Tuesday by The Guardian, the Boston Celtics second-year swingman talked about racism in America, and he made it clear that he's no fan of President Trump. Trump has made it a lot more acceptable for racists to speak their minds, Brown, in London ahead of the Celtics game there Thursday against the 76ers, told the British newspaper. He noted that while some people think racism has dissipated or no longer exists, it's hidden in more strategic places. Brown, 21, recalled incidents of racial abuse he experienced while growing up in Marietta, Georgia. "I've had people call me the N-word," he said. "I've had people come to basketball games dressed in monkey suits with a jersey on. I've had people paint their face black at my games. I've had people throw bananas in the stands." Now, after one season at Cal Berkeley which led to Boston making him the third overall pick in the 2016 draft, Brown has ended up in a great place, but even his ascent to the NBA came with reminders of racial bias. He told The Guardian that a league executives reported comments before the draft that Brown might be too smart for the league were hinting at something very problematic within society. Brown, who taught himself to play piano and enjoys chess and learning languages, asserted that the notion that an athlete can't be intelligent made for a troubling narrative. "Some people think that, in basketball, we have a bunch of masculine adults who don't know how to control themselves," he said. "They're feeble-minded and can't engage or articulate ideas. That's a narrative they keep trying to paint. We're trying to change it because that statement definitely has a racist undertone." Not surprisingly, given the interview's emphasis on race in sports, it turned to Colin Kaepernick, the former 49ers quarterback who many feel has been shunned by NFL teams for inspiring player protests during the national anthem. "It was peaceful and successful. It made people think. It made people angry," Brown said of Kaepernick's protests. "It made people want to talk. Often everybody is comfortable with their role in life and they forget about the people who are uncomfortable," Brown continued. So for Colin to put his career on the line, and sacrifice himself, was amazing. But Colin was fed up with the police brutality and pure racism. He speaks for many people in this country, including me. Asked if his anger had grown since Trump's presidency began, Brown replied, "Not really. I just think Trump's character and some of his values makes him unfit to lead. For someone like him to be president, and in charge of our troops? It's scary, to be honest." Before the NBA season began, there was speculation about whether players in that league would stage protests during the anthem, particularly after Trump incensed many athletes with scathing criticism of football players' demonstrations. "I think basketball and athletes have a tremendous opportunity with our platform to do something about it," Brown told reporters during the Celtics Media Day in September. Before a preseason game in October, Celtics players locked arms during the anthem, as did many NBA players on other teams, and before their season opener against the Cavaliers later that month, Brown and his teammates stood with their heads bowed. Jaylen Brown said it's unconstitutional for Donald Trump to tell athletes not to exercise their First Amendment rights. #Celtics, Gary Washburn, at Washburn Globe, September 25, 2017. In his discussion with The Guardian, Brown, whose 14.1 points per game have him second only to Kyrie Irving in scoring for the first-place Celtics, indicated he was well aware of the nature of society in the U.S., and his fortunate place in it. "There's this idea of America that some people have to win and some have to lose, so certain things are in place to make this happen," he said. "Some people have to be the next legislators and political elites, and some have to fill the prisons and work in McDonald's. That's how America works. It's a machine which needs people up top, and people down low. Even though I've ended up in a great place, who is to say where I would have been without basketball? It makes me feel for my friends. Just because I'm the outlier in my neighborhood who managed to avoid the barriers set up to keep the privileged in privilege, and the poor still poor," he added, "why should I forget about the people who didn't have the same chance as me?" Read more from the Post. LaMelo and LiAngelo Ball combined for 29 points during pro debuts in Lithuania. I see a young king. LeBron James rips H&M for coolest monkey in the jungle hoodie. LeBron James is the NBA MVP, and it isn't close. Alabama running back Bo Scarborough denies yelling expletive